All right, let's go back to Peydge. So there was some news over the weekend. I mean, what was your take on the Conor-Floyd boxing match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was rooting for Conor. You know, I want to cheer for all of my fellow UFC fighters. I want them to have as much success as they can because it ultimately brings attention to MMA fighters and everyone in the UFC. I thought he did awesome. I mean, if you look at the statistics, he had more shots landed on Floyd than Manny Pacquiao did.
You're right. So, in 2 less rounds.
In 2 less rounds, exactly. So I think he did amazing, and I think Floyd said that he put him in deep water. He was just shocked by how well Conor did, and I think the whole world was shocked. After he made it through, like, the second round, I was like, wow, he really has a shot at this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. The first round, when he came out, he did exactly what he said he'd do. He went forward, he pushed the pace, he was going to the head, but then he was dropping to the body and coming back to that. Beautiful combinations, but that's offense. Offense is a little bit easier. In the second round, Floyd finally threw a cross. Conor slips outside, throws an uppercut, followed by a hook and a straight. And that's when all us smart people in the building sit back and go, oh, my God, this guy can box.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the moment when he showed that counter attack. And we go, oh, my God, Floyd can't touch Conor?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yep.
I thought it was amazing. I put myself in his shoes, Austin. If you brought in the best boxer my size, and I had to fight. First off, that's terrifying for me.
Yeah.
Second off, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm not making it 30 minutes. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how much you like me or you want to go
No
chill.
way.
You'll be great. I'm not going a half of an hour. Conor went a half of an hour and still never fell down.
Yep.
He never fell down. He took the guy's best punches. I'm trying to come up with the words to give him the credit he deserves, and I don't have them. It was just flat amazing.
Well, and now with the way his striking looks, because obviously he prepared for this fight, I would love to see him come back to the UFC, and I want that trilogy.
Yeah, with
Nate Diaz,
Yeah.
and I just don't know, because, I mean, Diaz has great striking, and that's where we saw him look the best against Conor. I don't know if it would even be close now.
Do you have some inside scoop on if that's going to happen?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't got the inside scoop
So
on
I got a
that, but
little
I would
bit.
love that.
I got a little bit. This is speculation, but you know in our sport where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
I'll give you what I got. So I show up on the set for ESPN. Who's in the green room? Nate Diaz. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I said, hey, Nate, what's going on? What are you doing here? And he said, oh, they're going to interview me after the fight. It's like, really?
Why?
Why would they be interviewing you? Yeah, I didn't say that. I connected the dots.
Yeah.
And then Conor even said in his post-fight, he called out Nate Diaz. It wasn't a flat-out, this is who I want. But he said, I don't know what's next, but Nate Diaz and the trilogy is sitting there. One thing I respect about Conor is even though he is blazing in, his own trail here, he does respect the history and tradition of the sport. And history says, if you fought twice and it's one apiece, you go to a rubber match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conor respects that.
Yep.
And I respect that in Conor because there is something to be said for tradition.
Yeah.
I think Conor doesn't get enough credit. I think, we're talking about you getting there's jealousy that comes with that. And I think a lot of people are a little jealous of Conor, but there's also some, hey, time out, let's pat this guy on the back. He's done a lot of things really well. Instead of critiquing Conor, let's copy some stuff this son of a bitch is doing because he does have some stuff figured out. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
The dude is coming out with his own whiskey. I mean, you can't hate on that guy, man. People that hate on him are just mad that they didn't think of it first. That's the plan. And for the record, I'm going to come out with my own, sunshine spiced rum. Because of the way he said that, it gave me an idea. So I think that'll be a good
Wait,
one.
what kind of whiskey is he? That is brilliant for one, but what is he coming out with?
He was drinking it in the
It's called Notorious?
Notorious
Oh, the
whiskey.
guy's a genius.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. If you don't believe that, then...
Well, he is a
something's
genius.
wrong.
I went out to dinner with him in New York for a Reebok event, and he's a genius. And sitting down and talking to him, he doesn't have his, notorious attitude. It's totally just like a regular person, but he's a genius. And I could just listen to him talk for hours. He knows the sport better than anybody else.
I also love his personality when there's no camera on. He is just a calm and regular guy. Did I tell you about the time I interviewed him at ESPN?
No.
So they set up an octagon on campus, outdoors, and we're going to do this little interview. We're going to sit down with some chairs. There's going to be a quick mic. Okay, real simple. So I've met his fiance, Dee.
Oh, she's so sweet.
She's wonderful.
Amazing.
I've met her a number of times, but it was really quick. I know her. I give her a hug, hello, but I didn't have the name. I didn't know, was he saying D? Was he saying B? I misplaced it. So, all right, she's there, and it's like the third time I've met her, so I can't really go up and clarify names. So he and I are in the octagon, and he's probably 12 feet away from me, and I go, Conor. And he looks up, and I said, hey, your fiance. And he says, yeah. I said, what's her name? And he goes, what? So I say the exact same thing. I said, your fiance, what's her name? And he beelines right for my face. And we are now about an inch apart. And he's looking right in my eye. And he goes, what? And I said, it's the same thing one more time. And I say, your fiance, what's her name? And he goes, D. And he turns and walks away. And all I could think about is, what did you think I was saying? What is it you thought that I was saying about her that led you to what almost happened?
And that was it right there? He turned around and...
He answered the D and just turns and takes 3 steps in the opposite direction. And I was just standing there thinking, okay, what just almost happened?
Yeah.
And what in the hell did you think? What rhymes with, hey, what's her name? What possibly could have... I don't know the answer, but yeah, he was
great.
a cool guy, man. He was a regular guy.
He sounds cool.
I see all these people that, hate him, and again, it does come from some jealousy, but it's like, well, if he ever lets the curtain down, and over time he will. Right now, he's a consummate professional. He stays in character, but over time, he'll let some people in on the gag, and I think people will be really intrigued by the real guy.
Mm-hmm.
The real guy that was a plumber living at his dad's house, going to job sites and had a big dream and made it. Pretty cool story.
Yeah.
What's that word he says? It's the one where you constantly visualize something and it happens?
Well, he read the book The Secret, and it's called The Laws of Attraction, but I don't know what word he used.
I think you're right. I think that's what I think about. I think about that almost every day. I could never remember the phrase or the word. I just remember the more you tell yourself it's going to happen, and the more you look at it and you see it, and like if you ever have a wrestling match or a fight and you're dreaming about that and you're dreaming about the way you're going to win and then you win that way, I mean, there's some serious power to that.
Now,